everybody, this is Andrew from T is for Tech, and in today's video I'm taking a look at another projector. This is a portable projector. The brand is Nebula by Anker, and they have products in many different areas. Nebula is the brand that they use for their projectors, and this is the Capsule 3 Laser. So what I'm going to do right away is just kind of open this up, pull it out of the box, we'll take a look, and we'll go over some of the specs. And in this top piece, you have your quick start guide. You've got some information on installing Nebula Connect and getting Netflix installed and things like that. This is a very nice controller, very slim, nice touch and feel. Has a microphone, so interacting with Android TV, you can talk to it, which is cool. And then here is the projector itself. Really nice, kind of a hefty thing. It does have a little weight to it. It is made, feels like mostly aluminum. Really nice materials. On the top here, you also get a power brick for charging it. USB-C to USB-C cable. And that's it. So basically you get the USB cable, the controller, and the projector. So this does have a tripod mount, kind of 1/4-inch mount here. So you are able to mount this to something if you want to kind of position it for projecting. On the back here you do have power button, looks like an input switch, infrared for your controller, have your aux out, HDMI, and Type-C. And on the front, there is a camera here. I don't know if you can see that camera. And that's what it uses to do the auto keystone and the autofocus. And then right there is the projector lens. Now it's hard to see, but it is protected by a glass cover here. So you won't have any issues getting the lens element messed up or anything like that. On the top, you do have some built-in controls for controlling the projector without the remote. If you don't want to use the remote and you want to kind of make some adjustments here, you can do that with this touch sensitive pad on the top. On the sides here, you've got speakers. So this should be a pretty cool device. Now just to go over some of the specs, this does have a 300 ISO lumens brightness. So because of the fact that it does have a laser projecting element, you can get a pretty bright, sharp image, even in this compact device. This weighs about 2 pounds. So as you can see, it just fits in my hand. So you can take this anywhere, right? And if you want to take it outside to your deck, your backyard, you want to take it camping, you want to take it to a friend's house, you want to project it in a bedroom, it's pretty portable, should be able to go pretty much anywhere. Now with the built-in 52 watt-hour battery, that will give it about 2.5 hours of playtime. So for most movies, you won't have to worry about the playtime, and you can use the built-in battery. Now, I'll have to see how that works. I'm assuming you can plug in like an external power bank as well, or you can plug it in with the power cable. Like I said, this does have Android TV 11, so that gives you plenty of options for all sorts of content that you might want to display. That also does work with Google Assistant and Chromecast. The speakers here are 8-watt Dolby Digital speakers, so that should give you some high fidelity sound with your portable projector. So you don't have to worry about external speakers or adding, additional complexity to your setup if you want to just use the built-in speakers. Now, if you also have this, like say at an event and you're watching some things, watching a movie, you can also use this as just a portable speaker itself. So you can make this a Bluetooth speaker and use it in that sense and not actually use the projector, which is pretty cool. That should give you about 10 hours of playtime if the battery's full of just music. Otherwise, it's 2.5 hours projecting a movie. This is 1920 by 1080, so it is high def. Has a throw ratio of 1.2 to 1. Autofocus, has auto keystone adjustment, and that can do plus or minus 40 degrees vertical and plus or minus 40 degrees horizontal. So that gives you quite a bit of range to have this offset in your projection area and still have the frame and the movie projected, in a rectangular fashion and square. So if you want kind of like a big projection in a small package, definitely, you might want to take a look at this because it is super compact. So what I'm going to do in the next part of this video is just set this up in a couple different places here. I might just project on a wall in my basement to start with, just to see how that looks. And then I'll move to maybe a couple other locations and we'll check out how this performs. So let's hop on over and check it out. So the first thing I did here, and this was just in my basement, I put it on a table that I had here in the basement. It's actually kind of like a bar area, and it was totally off center from the wall, as you can see. And it did auto keystone correct, and it shows up square to the user, right? So rectangular shape of the actual the video portion of the screen, as you can see, looks correct. Now, the one thing I did notice is that the actual projection is bigger than what it's showing there. You can see it's kind of like a little bit lighter white, right, around the edges, because it is kind of off-centered and whatnot. So that's one thing to notice when it's doing that auto keystone and horizon correction. It's just for the image, and you might get some light bleed that goes beyond that, right? Not a problem though if you're using this for watching, consuming media and whatnot. It's not too obtrusive or anything like that. But what it affords you is the fact that you don't have to have the projector directly in line with where you want to project. It can be off center, it can be off to the side, it can be lower, higher, doesn't really matter. For a portable projector, I think that's very important, and that makes this much more usable than other devices that I've seen in the past. Now, beyond that, I'm just showing the Netflix app here. Now, this does need to be installed through the Nebula Play app icon there. You can just follow the directions, go in there, and it installs a version of Netflix that works with the projector. And as you can see, it's actually uses like a mouse to control the interface. So you have to kind of scroll that little finger mouse pointer around in order to do it. But once you do it once, it's pretty easy to do with the controller. And you can also do it with the app.
Your orders to me were expected the tree is at 1000 hours. From 0930 to 0955, I was censoring the enlistment's mail by order of Colonel Strayer. At 1000 hours, I followed your orders to the minute.
I changed the time to 0945.
No one told me, sir.
I telephoned.
I'm quartered with a family that has no telephone.
And sent a runner.
No runner found me, Captain.
Irregardless, when given a task to perform by a ranking officer, you should have delegated your task of latrine inspection to another officer. You failed to do so. Or to let such a failure of duty by my own XO go.
And then here you can see in the Nebula Play app, there's a bunch of different things. There's a FAQ section. There's it talks about how do you do the keystone correction, autofocus, setting up screen mirroring, speaker mode to do like just listen as a speaker itself instead of doing a projector. All of that can be done through the interface there. So here I was just in the settings menu. You can go into the projector settings, and there's a bunch of different things there, including brightness, picture, image correction, all of that stuff you can change manually if you'd like. You can also leave it on auto. From the image correction perspective, you can do auto keystone correction, one-click image correction, and then you can change things like the zoom. You can actually perform manual adjustments and whatnot as well. So lots of different things you can do here. You could also switch it to the Bluetooth speaker mode. Now there is a button on the back of the actual projector that also does this, but you can do it from within the projector itself. I did test that off camera, and it does sound really, really pretty nice. So I do like the fact that you have that dual purpose. Use it as a standalone speaker if you don't want to actually use it as a projector. So pretty cool. And the fact that it is a laser projector, I think it does make a difference. Now, this is the first laser projector that I've actually tested on the channel, but other projectors I've had in the past are just LCD or LED projectors, and they were not as crisp. They didn't have the kind of dynamic range that this does. They certainly didn't have the brightness that this can get up to. And again, this is maxed out brightness. It's probably not the best for, for seeing the contrast here, just because of the camera settings I had when I was recording this. Very easy to use and navigate. And for me, this is probably one of the ones I'll use the most is Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, some of the other ones like Disney Plus or whatever my kids might want to use and watch some of those movies. But all of that stuff is available through the Google Play Store, so you should have no problems loading your favorite apps, consuming your content, screencasting to this so you can cast from your phone, all sorts of things, right? So multiple ways to stream content as well as consume content. You can plug in a USB drive with some videos on it. You can use the HDMI input. So all in all, super feature-rich device. And again, it's super portable. You can throw this up anywhere, project on a wall, project on a pop-up thing like this I was using. Sky's the limit on the portability of this. Now, this whole time it was running on battery, and if you need to run it for longer than 2.5 hours on battery, like I had mentioned earlier, you can plug the USB-C cable into the wall adapter, plug it into the wall. So after playing around with this and using it for a period of time, the one thing that stands out for me in this Capsule 3 laser from Nebula is that it is super portable, right? A lot of the times with other projectors, and I did, use some in the past, to actually set it up and use it was a big ordeal, right? You'd have to get, power to it. You'd have to have it all set up, and, you'd have to have it in a certain way so that you can make sure that the picture looked correct and do the adjustments and all of that. This takes all of the effort out of just kind of wanting to quickly set up and watch a movie out of the picture, right? Put it down, point it at something you want to project on. The actual device does all the setup. It's more than adequate from a brightness perspective. Has a great sound system built in, so you can get enough loudness for people that are watching the movie or watching the content that you're projecting. And it just makes everything really, really straightforward and simple. So that's one of the things that I really like about this, and I think that you will like too. So I will link to this in the description so you can check it out. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and post those below. I'll be sure to take a look and respond. This is Andrew from T is for Tech. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.